Nice job, everybody. We're going to learn something. Okay, our next author tonight is Mercer Addison. I love this. A quote by author George Eliot. It is never too late to be what you might have been. A late bloomer in the publishing world, Mercer Addison took on this quote as her motto. Not only for inspiration that she could write interesting stories, but that age doesn't matter when you really desire something. Mercer, real name Nancy Lytle, sorry, has lived in the Pacific Northwest and the state of Oregon all her life. She resides in the Portland area with her husband Ty and their little dog Gracie. After releasing EVEN NECTAR IS POISON, historical suspense, Mercer has since released the book of her heart, 5 O'Clock Whistle, a work of fiction yet inspired by Southern ancestors. Mercer.
Okay. I was telling Seema she's going to be a hard act to follow. And I was telling my friends here, Jody and Debbie from Jan's Paperback, that it's past my bedtime. So hold on to those little yellow tickets I gave you. I haven't done this since I retired from electronics. Spoke, that is, in front of people, believe it or not. So anyhow, I want to thank Bards Brews for having this. I want to thank Primrose and Tumbleweeds, really different name, for having us here. I want to thank Tina from Jacobson's Books for sponsoring us. And I want to thank these friendly faces right here, these two ladies who have done a lot for me, from Jan's Paperbacks in Aloha. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a little bit from this book here, which is my first published book. It's a historical suspense, as I was introduced. But anyhow, there's an Irish charm and spell. This book starts in Ireland in 1909. And it says, for safety when going on a journey, pluck 10 blades of yarrow, keep 9, and cast the 10th away for a tithe to the spirits. Put the 9 blades in your stocking under the heel of the right foot, and the evil one will have no power over you. Well, I've come to think of this evil journey as I compare my writer's journey to this Irish spell, with the evil ones being the agents and editors that turned me down. So it has been a long journey for me to get to this point where I could hold this book in my hand. Yay, 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 yay. And my writing truly started around 15 years ago, serious writing, because I dibble-dabbled. But seriously, when I was reading a medieval by a famous author and told myself I could do this. And I was working out on a treadmill at the time and was probably about 40 pounds lighter than now. I've acquired a writer's butt. You wouldn't know it with some of these skinny authors up here, but it does happen. Anyhow, I thought I could write just as good, but this is an oh no. No, I could not. My first story dwarfed Gone with the Wind in length only and was fraught with errors. Realizing I was sadly lacking, I joined various writing clubs, writing chapters, and took workshops and learned my craft. And my work won contests. I had agents, but never the elusive I want to publish you did I hear. This book was really close. I had an editor at Mirror that wanted to publish it, but the powers that be turned it down for little things, and that editor left. So that's one thing in my favor. So it's like he said, that George Eliot's motto, it's never too late to be what you might have been, became my motto. Later, and then even later, like now, I made up my own motto, which is, I want to be published while I still know who I am. And it was also time for me to take charge, so I let my agent go and decided to self-publish. And then that started a whole new sleepless nights, being scared to death of publishing. And although I don't know it all, I have self-published 2 books. I'm on Amazon, Kindle, and Kobo. And it's hard, it's tough, I'm not going to fool you, but it is not easy, but I did it. So I guess if this old gal can do it, anybody can. So I want to read a little bit of this. This book, like I said, starts in 1909, Ireland. And this guy has a brother that everybody hates. But we're at a clandestine meeting with the Irish Republican Brotherhood and the Sinn Féin. And back in 1909, the Sinn Féin were the good guys. Now, they're the bad guys. But anyhow, so the main character, Donald, he goes to this meeting. And so spotting a friend, Donald made his way over to Aidan O'Connell, a proper Fenian man. Aidan, slim and with graying hair, made room next to him. Donald intended to ask his friend if he had work at his furniture store. When Aidan pulled out an already rolled cigarette, Donald accepted it and bent his head to the offered match. "Do you know your brother Sam is here?" Aidan said, his gaze shrewd and locked onto the figure across the room. Blowing smoke in the air and glancing to where Aidan pointed, Donald was surprised to see Sam leaning against the far wall. The last Donald knew of Sam, he was in Belfast working in the shipyards. The fact that he was here meant Sam was up to no good. Anything dark and against the law drew Sam McShane like flies to rotten meat. With a cigar clamped between his teeth, his dark brows pulled into a perpetual frown, Sam's face seized with defiance. "Shite," Donald said under his breath. "'Tis the last man on earth I wanted to see here." Smoke roiled thick from cigarettes, pipes, and cigars, creating a cloud of fog. Donald intently listened. Members of the Irish Republican Brotherhood were urging violence against the English and defiantly brandishing handguns. Others beseeched peaceful demonstrations. The meeting turned ugly. "I say we fight the bloody English with bullets and not paper," Sam shouted. A wicked smile followed his advice. "Sure, and it's a battle you be wanting, Sam McShane." "Well, I say go spill your own feckin' blood and not mine," said Aidan with spirit. His comment received eyes from the Finns and catcalls from the IRB members. "Rumor has it that you brought guns down from the north to give to the IRB. "Aye, old man, proof 'tis not rumor," Sam challenged. Tom Clark, the leader of the Sinn Féin, stood and with a cautioning tone dismissed the meeting and told them to go home. They put out their smokes, grumbled, and did as told. As the men covertly spilled out into the wet, foggy air, Donald fell in step with Aidan. "Aidan, I was hoping to talk with you about work. Would you have an opening in your shop?" "Sorry to say I don't, but I'm on the way to Collins Pub. Let me buy you an ale." Before Donald could reply, Sam joined them. "If you're going to Collins, I don't mind having a pint myself." "I'm for home," Donald said. He wasn't inclined to share a drink with Sam, nor did he want his revelry brother in his house. Donald often compared himself and Sam to the strong ends of a magnet that no amount of force could push together. They clashed through life. Donald, at 23 and 6 years younger than Sam, was a family man who wanted to provide good things for his wife and 2 children. Sam, with no burden of marriage to tie him down, did as he pleased. Although they differed as night and day in personalities, Donald suffered through the fact that in looks they were as similar as twins. The one distinguishing feature was Donald's hair coloring was brown, where Sam's was as black as his heart. "How's Derry?" Sam asked with a tease, or was it a hint of something else? Donald's eyes narrowed, and knowing damn well it was a hint of something else, said nothing. Aidan, with his usually sprightly gait, was still fiery from the meeting. He continued arguing with Sam, trying to make him see the way peaceful demonstrations could make more progress than words and bullets. "A gun pointed at the face of a disbeliever is more persuasive than words could ever be," Sam boasted. Aidan scoffed. "You're all a bunch of blathering idiots acting like big men with your guns. Well, I'm here to tell you, Sam McShane, that violence begets violence. Mark my words, your flashy pistol will make trouble for us all. For emphasis, Aiden poked Sam's chest with his finger. Sam slapped Aiden's hand away. "Leave off me, you bloody baggard. You have no right to touch me." And in the light of the street lamp and the misting rain, Donald saw his brother's jaw flex and the start of his vicious temper that the least insignificant thing could provoke. "Ah, Lord above," Aiden said, and continued to goad. "It takes a puny man holding a gun to become mighty. You're not a man, nor mighty in the eyes." Sam snarled and pointed his gun directly at Aiden's face. In the dim light, Aiden blanched white. He began shaking his head in disbelief, holding his hands up as if to ward off Sam's anger. "Shame on you, McShane, scaring me with your evil gun. Put it away like a good lad. Let me buy you a pint." Sam cocked the trigger. "Stop it, Sam." Knowing what Sam was capable of, Donald lunged his body at the gun and took Sam to the ground. They scuffled. Sam gouged at Donald's face. Each tried to outdo the other, grunting, raw strength against raw strength, evenly matched. Rolling on the wet cobblestone, Sam's eyes blazed with hatred, his rage now directed at Donald. Without a doubt, Sam wanted to blow Donald's head off. Donald wanted to hurt Sam for all the savage heartache he'd strewn around for the years. But it was more than that with Donald. It was something deep and underlying, something that he wanted to forget about but couldn't. Aiden ran over, yelling at them to stop. Donald's fingers inched up Sam's arm, stretching to reach the gun. His hand clasped Sam's and he wrested the gun away. Relieved that he now controlled the weapon, Donald got to his feet and started to move away. Sam tackled him, slamming Donald's body and face against the cobblestones. The gun discharged. Its retort echoed loud like a church bell. A dog barked and voices started up in the distance. Aiden let out a cry. Donald rolled over to see his friend gripping his chest. Aiden staggered backwards against the stone building. As blood stained his jacket, Aiden slowly slumped to the ground. Stunned despair covered his face. "Ah, no, Aiden," Donald railed, and scrambling over to his friend tore Aiden's shirt open. "We'll get a doctor. Sam, get help." Aiden's bloody hand grabbed Donald's jacket lapel. "Jesus, Donald, you shot me. Wasn't your..." His head low to the side and his breath came out in a long sigh. Horrified, Donald sobbed. "Nay, Aiden, I didn't mean for it to happen." Frantic, he wiped his bloody hands on his coat, his mind a muddled swirl. Sam reached down and put his fingers at the base of Aiden's neck. He shook his head and then jerked Donald away from the body. "Leave him or it's the gallows for you." "Ah, no, no, I can't leave him lying here in the street. Not Aiden, not like a dead animal." Stunned at Sam's words, Donald rushed out. "It was an accident. You witnessed it." "Jesus, Sam, you can tell what happened, Who'd believe me? Sam, the liar and thief down from Belfast? They'll probably say I did it and you're taking the blame. I brought boxes of rifles with me for the IRB. I don't plan on getting caught with them." Sam picked up his gun and put it in his pocket. He began shoving Donald down the cobblestone street. And then it's 2 years later. I'm not going to tell you what happens to Donald. It's 2 years later, and one of my other main characters is Olivia Marsh. She's a suffragette that's gone to London to give a speech. She's a suffragette, and she's returning home on the Titanic. Well, of course, you all know what happens with the Titanic. And anyhow, as Olivia's being lowered down the side of the sinking ship in a rowboat, a man tosses a little girl over the railing on the ship, and Olivia catches her. But anyhow, and so they're on the Carpathia, and the rescue ship, and they've slept and everything. The little girl won't say who she is, but she cries out in her sleep, Casey, and she calls her doll Jerry. So anyhow, Olivia goes up on the deck to try to find out if anybody knows anything about the little girl. And so anyhow, she's talked to a purser and everything, and she can't find anybody. So discouraged, Olivia went on deck where blanket-clad people were still milling everywhere. Some with haunted eyes passed by, some huddled on the deck in the brisk open air, and some sat in deck chairs staring out at the sea. At last the ship had sailed away from the freezing waters, but the cold was still biting. An overwhelming sadness curled around everything like a thick gray fog. She began walking amongst the huddled survivors, talking to those who would listen. It wasn't easy. She asked if anyone knew or heard of anyone named Casey, but all she got back were no's. Disappointed and ready to give up and go back to the stateroom, Olivia glanced around the crowded deck. She saw a tall man moving through the milling people. Being a man amongst so many women, he stood out. His long black coat with fur collar stood out even more. Olivia gasped. The man was the one who threw the child overboard. Maybe he's her father. Excited and without any hesitation on her part, she started after him with lengthening strides. Her skirt and coat hem hid against her ankles, wrapping around them, and she wished she could wear trousers like a man. Damn this skirt, she cursed, and reached down to lift it up, exposing black cotton hose. She ran. Her heels clicked on the polished wood of the deck, attracting attention. "Sir, sir, please wait up," she yelled, but he disappeared around a corner. Fast behind him, she rounded the corner with such momentum her feet skidded out from under her. She grabbed the wooden railing to steady herself. The man was now directly ahead. Olivia caught up with him. She grabbed his arm, abruptly stopping him. "What the?" he snapped out. He stared at her, strikingly handsome, with anger still evident in whiskey-colored eyes. His mouth relaxed into a deadly smile as his outrage appeared to fade. Short, dark black hair curled out beneath his bowler hat as he slightly nodded. "'Tis sorry I am to be rude to you, lass. What can I help you with?" he asked in a smooth Irish accent and studied her with the distinction of a jungle cat sizing up its prey. "You threw a little girl in the lifeboat I was in. Actually, she landed in my arms. I thought maybe she's your child, and you're looking for her." Olivia was disappointed to see him shake his head. "Do you know who she belongs to?" "She appears about 4 or 5 years old. It's hard to say, since she's somewhat undernourished." "Did you see her mother, her parents?" "Oh, and she calls her doll dearie." She yelled out the name Casey in her sleep. Olivia watched him, searching for any sign her words had meaning. His face registered nothing. He shrugged. "Oh no, I don't know her. In truth, I don't remember throwing her over the rail. Too much excitement, too many people. I almost drowned before someone saved me. Now, if there isn't anything else you need, I'll be going." He started to walk off, but again Olivia put her hand on his arm, restraining him. "Please, are you sure? Do you recognize anyone here that was with her? How about in Queenstown? Certainly there weren't that many people boarding in Ireland." His dark brow raised in amusement. "You think because I'm Irish that I boarded in Queenstown, Sure, and it's none of your business, but I got on the Titanic at Southampton, England, with me wife Lillian. Albert Flynn's me name." His gaze roamed over her. "If by the saints I hear anything, you'll be the first to know. But if her parents are on this ship, I'm thinking you would have found them by now. Chances are they're one of those frozen souls left floating in the ocean. Mind if I ask your name, lass, and your stateroom number?" "No, not at all. I'm Olivia Marsh. The room is B121. You can contact me there or through a steward." Looking amused, Albert Flynn doffed the curved brim of his bowler and left. She was perplexed. What person wouldn't be happy to know they'd saved someone's life, brag about it, or even accept praise? But even more confusing, while touching his sleeve, she noticed his thick coat wasn't in the least bit damp or mussed, and no salt brine dotted the fabric. Wouldn't he have lost his hat? Nothing substantiated his story that he'd been pulled from the freezing Atlantic. With a finger pressed to her lips, Olivia narrowed her eyes in speculation. She watched Albert Flynn's long, confident strides until he started down the stairs and disappeared. Thus the story began. So, just so happens, I have an autographed book of "EVEN NECTAR IS POISON," thus the tickets. So I'm going to let someone else draw a ticket. Okay. 542359.
I got it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Does anybody have any questions or anything?
I can't believe I won so.
Yes,
What kind of research did you do for that?
a ton of it. I did a ton of it. And